We have no choice, Hive Leader Dilt said, his voice heavy with the weight of inevitability. We must unleash the humans. Ryan didn't answer right away. He stood rigid in the middle of the Hive Leader's private chamber, all four of his arms folded tight across his broad green chest. The air reeked of pheromones, an uneasy mixture of desperation and something worse. Resignation. You say that like they're some kind of weapon, Ryan said finally, antennae twitching. Like we can point and shoot. Humans aren't weapons. They're weaker than we are, and they're not on our side. They're paras, Dilt said flatly. Ryan's antennae flared. He didn't like that word. It wasn't wrong, but it wasn't kind either. Outcasts, Dilt continued. No legal status in the eyes of the Federal Union of Worlds, just like us. If anyone's going to help, it'll be them. Ryan exhaled through his mandibles in a sharp click. What can the humans do that we can't? They can't even protect themselves from bandits. The Hive Leader's eyes narrowed. No bandit has attacked a human settlement in half a revolution. Because the bandits are smart enough to avoid a waste of time? Ryan asked, voice dry. Because they're afraid, Dilt said. Afraid of the lead dealer. Ryan snorted. That story again? A human dressed in black travels the frontier on a ghost ship, slaughters anyone who threatens his kind? Come on. Taller than a Gru, stronger than a Zist, meaner than a Skarl. No name, no origin, no weakness. That's just a story desperate colonists tell each other to sleep at night. Maybe, Dilt admitted, but the weapon he uses, the lead throwers, those are real. Ryan tilted his head slightly. Kinetic weapons, chemically fired. Yeah, I've heard of them. Strong enough to kill a Gru noble, supposedly. No power source, Dilt added. The Fed's nullifiers can't shut them down. Ryan's fingers flexed near his belts, resting on the braking sticks. 2 tungsten rods, each over 300 kilograms, his preferred tools of violence. If they're so good, why aren't we getting some for ourselves? We're trying. The human homeworld is far away, and they don't travel fast. But there's a Flaxian dealer pushing lead throwers on the black market. The Syndicate's claimed most of the stock, though. Of course they have, Ryan growled. And Zodar's working on getting some to us, I suppose. Slowly. Too slowly. But yes, we don't have time, Ryan said, stepping forward. 2 of his hands clenched. The Syndicate is coming. To where? Dilt snapped. Where would you have us flee? If we go to Fed space, we'll be declared illegal parasites and shipped to labor camps. If we move to another colony, the Syndicate will just follow. We can't run. So we die? Ryan asked, voice edged with frustration. No, Dilt said, his mandibles tightening. We fight. We show them that taking us isn't worth the cost. Ryan's wings fluttered angrily. You can't fight warships with sticks, Hive Leader. And the Feds, let's not pretend they're uninvolved. They'll look the other way or worse. We all know it. If we stay here, it'll be the calling all over again. The males collared, forced into mercenary service or mining. The females forced to lay, eggs stolen, eaten. I remember, Dilt said quietly. That's why we need the humans. Ryan didn't respond. They can help us, Dilt said again, this time firmer. Maybe not willingly, but they can. I need someone to reach them. Ryan backed up a step, wings half open in alarm. No way. You're not asking me to... I am, Dilt said. You've got the wrong zit, Ryan said, shaking his head. I don't know anything about humans. I've never even spoken to one. You're the best we have, Dilt said. I'm the best soldier you have. That doesn't mean I can talk people into things. If this is a diplomatic mission, it isn't. Not exactly. You only think this is the wrong fit because you don't understand humans. Trust me, you're exactly the right one for the job. Ryan stared at the elder Zit. There's something you're not telling me. Many things, Dilt said, unblinking, most of which you won't believe, but you'll understand when you meet our contact. 2 weeks later, Ryan stood in front of a rundown bar called the Cosmic Cantina, the letters glowing pink above the entrance. The place was carved into the side of a station that hung near the edge of the frontier, a rough patch of space even by outlaw standards. He squeezed his braking sticks once for luck, then stepped inside. The air inside was thick with heat and noise. Locals huddled in shadowed booths. Outlaws leaned against the walls, weapons strapped across their chests. Ryan's cybernetics flagged at least a dozen of them as armed and untagged. Illegal. Not a surprise. No one around here wore ident badges. Not Zists. Not humans. Not the kind of people who expected to live long. He spotted a female Zist weaving through the tables with a tray of drinks. Fertile cycle. Pretty. He forced his antennae to stay level. The bartender was the contact, an older Zit, a veteran. Ryan could tell from the way the male moved. Quiet confidence, the right kind of stillness, and too many weapons for anyone to feel comfortable around. Lead throwers hung beside energy pistols. The sight of them made Ryan's wings buzz. The barkeep looked up. "Have a seat," he said. "The human will be here soon." He poured Ryan a drink without asking. 10 minutes later, the humans entered. One was a young female, late juvenile or early adult. Red shirt, blue pants, long brown coat, wide-brimmed white hat. Her hand rested easily on a plasma caster, on the other hip, a lead thrower. Her eyes were bright, sharp, dangerous. The man beside her was something else entirely. Tall, lean, black coat, black hat. His movements were silent, lethal. Ryan's cybernetics failed to detect any weapons, except for the twin lead throwers at his hips and a nullifier tucked in his coat pocket. Ryan's arms tensed. That nullifier made every power-based weapon in the bar useless, including his own. The man in black walked straight toward the bar. Ryan didn't realize he'd gone still until they passed within meters of him. The man tipped his hat to the barkeep. "Back whiskey." The barkeep nodded. "This is the one I told you about. Hive leader's son." The girl frowned. "You sure we should be talking here?" A pair of Flaxians across the bar looked over, fur rippling. "Shut it," the man in black said. They shut it. The barkeep gestured to a booth. "Privacy field's up. Talk there." Ryan followed the two humans to the table. The man in black took the seat with the best view of the room. Of course he did. Ryan took the one across from him. The girl sat next to the man, picked up the remote in the center of the table, and activated the privacy screen. A yellow shimmer surrounded them. "All right," she said. "I'm Anita. Who are you?" "Ryan," he said, "from the Many Eggs Colony. Planet Turon." Anita nodded. "I've heard of it. Faraway trades there sometimes." He inclined his head. "We do business with them." "So what's this about?" Ryan took a breath. "The human protocol." She frowned. "The what now?" "It's a doctrine among the hive leaders. When we're facing a threat we cannot survive alone. We turn to the humans. You're our last option." The man in black raised one eyebrow. "What threat?" Ryan told them. "About the Syndicate? About the warships? About the thousands of slavers already en route?" Anita shook her head. "You think we can help with that?" "No," Ryan said. "But my hive leader thinks we have no other choice." The man in black sipped his drink. "So what makes you think we would help even if we could?" Ryan leaned back, tired already. "Because you're next. They're already testing human slaves. You either help us now or they'll come for you when we're gone." "Still not enough," Anita said. "Do you have resources? Money? Weapons?" "Not much," Ryan said. "If we had enough to buy help, we'd have done it already." Then this meeting is over, the man in black said. Ryan stood. I told Dilt this was a waste of time. Anita's voice cut through the table. Wait. Ryan froze. She smiled slowly. They're coming from the core worlds, right? Yes, Ryan said cautiously. Anita looked at the man in black. That's a long trip. What are the odds they stop to refuel? Ryan blinked. Standard procedure is to hit a fueling station every 6 light weeks. We can't fight them head on, Anita said, but we don't have to. We board them en route. We've done it before. Board a warship, Ryan said. Yeah, she said, grinning. We're not stupid. We wait until they're docked. Strike fast. Take the ship from the inside. The man in black was silent for a moment. Then he said, If you can find where they stop, the colonies will follow. Ryan stared at them. A faint flicker of hope stirred in his chest. Maybe this wasn't a dead end after all. The bar's glow-stick lights buzzed faintly overhead as Ryan settled into the booth, all 4 arms folded tightly. The privacy screen shimmered around them in a soft yellow haze. It didn't muffle sound, but it cut off outside eavesdropping, neural, cyber, or otherwise. Ryan had checked, twice. Across from him sat 2 humans, one bright-eyed and sharp-tongued, the other cold and unreadable. Anita and the man in black. She was young, barely out of adolescence by human standards, but she moved like someone raised in danger. Her sidearm was a plasma caster, old but clean. Her other hip bore a lead thrower with fresh mods, barrel shroud, recoil compensator, spare mag snapped to the grip. Practical. The man beside her looked like death dressed in leather. His black coat was worn but well maintained, the brim of his wide hat low enough to keep his eyes in shadow. Ryan's cybernetics could barely scan him, which meant he had shielding tech. Advanced shielding technology. No one on the frontier carried that kind of gear unless they had serious enemies, or serious skills. Introductions first, Anita said, fingers drumming on the table. I'm Anita. This is... She hesitated, glanced at the man. I call him Jack. Stop calling me that, the man said, voice like cold steel. Ryan didn't move. I'm Ryan, from the Many Eggs colony on Turon. Many Eggs, Anita said, surprised. We've traded with Farway before. That's not far. Same system, Ryan confirmed. We've had contact. You've sold us med supplies and water filters. The man in black gave a single nod, but said nothing. Anita leaned forward. So what brings a Zit halfway across the quadrant to a place like this? Ryan took a moment. His wings buzzed once involuntarily. He forced them still. The human protocol. Anita raised an eyebrow. Come again? The Hive Elders call it that, Ryan explained. It's not official and it's not law, but it's policy. If the Hives face a threat we can't face alone, we're to turn to the humans. Because we're the same. The same, Anita echoed. Unrecognized, stateless, outside the FED, outside the law. Paras, Anita frowned. Paras is a slur, Ryan's mandibles clicked. So is Zist in most core worlds. Doesn't stop anyone from using it. The man in black didn't blink. You came to ask us for help. Yes, Ryan said. With what? Ryan leaned back slightly, then forward again. The Syndicate. That changed the air. Anita stopped drumming her fingers. The man in black took a slow sip of his drink. They're coming, the man asked. 3 Gon-class cruisers, with landing craft and thousands of armed operatives. Nullifiers, bio-trackers, callers. They're planning to raid our colonies. Start with Many Eggs, then move outward. Standard procedure. Take the adults. Reprogram the hatchlings. Anita winced. God, Ryan nodded. The feds are letting it happen, maybe even selling them the ships. The man in black's jaw flexed. When? 4 months. They're already en route from FED space, and you want the human colonies to… What? Attack them? Help us stop them, Ryan said. Fight with us, or sabotage the ships, or help us escape. Anything. Do you have money? Anita asked. No. Supplies? Not enough. Ships? Some, but none with weapons strong enough to punch through their armor. Most of our people are too young or too old to fight. We might scrape together 1,000 fighters. 2,000 if the other Zist colonies respond. Nullifiers? The man asked. 1, given to me by our hive leader. Anita leaned back, shaking her head. That's not enough, not even close. I know, Ryan said, but we have no choice. The man in black looked at him. So why come to us? Because when we're gone, you'll be next. The table went quiet. Anita's voice cut through after a beat. That's not a reason people fight wars, Ryan. That's a reason they run. I told my hive leader this was a waste of time, Ryan said quietly. But he insisted, said you'd listen. He thinks too much of us, Anita muttered. I agree. The man in black's gaze never moved. So why are you still here? Because I can't go home empty-handed. Ryan pushed his glass away. The drink inside was untouched. He stood. I'll let Farlow know the message was delivered. If your colonies decide to help, you can contact us through… Wait, Anita said suddenly. She slapped her palm on the table. Ryan froze. They're coming from the core, right? Yes. Anita looked at the man in black. That's a long trip. No way they don't stop to refuel. Maybe at a private station. Maybe at Benva. Ryan blinked. Benva? That's 3 weeks from many eggs. Exactly, she said. You can't stop 3 warships with 1,000 Zists, but maybe you don't have to. The man in black glanced at her. Go on. We board them, she said simply. Hit them when they stop. Sabotage their systems. Take out their command crew. You don't need to destroy a warship. You just need to make it stop fighting. You've done this before? Ryan asked. A few times, she said. Mostly smugglers and raiders. Never Syndicate cruisers. We'd need support from the colonies, the man in black said. They'll come, Anita said confidently. The colonies are always trying to rent your ships. We tell them there are 3 Syndicate cruisers ripe for the taking, with cutting-edge gear, nullifiers, and maybe slave rescue points. She smirked. They'll line up. They'll want a cut, the man warned. Of course, she said. Give 1 ship to the Zist, 1 to the humans. Split the 3rd. Greedy, Ryan said. Welcome to the frontier, Anita replied. The man in black leaned back. Find out where they're stopping. We'll handle the rest. Ryan sat down again, antennae curling toward him. You'll do it? I'll pass the word to the colonies, he said. No promises. But you'll help? He stared at Ryan. If we get there in time, if the colonies agree, if you do your part, then yes. Ryan hesitated. Are you really the lead dealer? Anita grinned. You didn't know? No one knows. He's a myth. Not quite, said Farlow, the bartender, appearing at the edge of the booth. He tapped the remote, reactivating the privacy field. He's real. That's him. I saw him clear out an entire Syndicate outpost once, took the commander's eyes for looking at a human wrong. I don't care what you call me, the man said, voice low. As long as it's not Jack, Anita said with a smirk. The man sighed. You get us intel on their stopover, Ryan. If it's Benva, we'll need access, someone who can get us on that station. Ryan nodded slowly. I think I can do that. Then go do it, the man said. You've got 4 months. Ryan stood. Thank you. He turned toward the exit. As he walked away, he heard Anita whisper behind him. This might actually work. He didn't smile. Not yet. But for the first time in weeks, something inside him stirred. Hope. The station lights flickered overhead as Ryan checked his weapons for the third time. 3 lead throwers, 2 pistols, 1 Barrett rifle, sat snug in their holsters and sling harness. The tungsten braking sticks clinked quietly at his sides. His cybernetics hummed. His wings twitched. They were ready. The message had come through an hour ago, tight band encrypted. 3 words from the lead dealer. Station secured. Go Benva Station hung like a rusted claw in the void, orbiting a dead rock nobody remembered. It was lawless, remote, and for the moment, occupied. The Syndicate cruisers had arrived on schedule, docking for refuel and resupply like any war machine before slaughter. They didn't know it would be their last stop. Zists and humans spilled out of ships across the outer docking arms, moving in tight clusters. Weapons loaded, nullifiers active, no banners, no cheers, just the mechanical, silent movements of people who knew that survival meant silence and speed. Ryan led the strike team toward the closest cruiser. The airlock was guarded, 3 Filan, 2 Rondar, 1 Gru. Professional mercenaries, not Syndicate trash, real hired killers. The Gru turned first, fast. Too fast. Plasmacaster lifted, comm mic already at his lips. He got nothing. The comms were jammed. The plasmacaster was dead metal. Ryan didn't slow. The Barrett fired once. The round punched clean through the Gru's armor, tearing out the back of his chest in a spray of red-black mist. The others reached for weapons. Too late. The Zists were on them. Lead throwers barked. The Syndicate guards dropped without a scream. "Clear," Ryan shouted. He didn't pause to gloat. 30 fighters peeled off to secure the airlock. No survivors, no escapes. That was the deal. No Syndicate gets out alive. Not this time. Inside, the ship felt like a coffin. Steel corridors stretched ahead, cold, silent. Dim lighting pulsed with low-power red. The ship was on refuel standby. Minimal security. Perfect. Then came the noise, not from the Zists, from the humans. Someone shouted something about party time, and lead started flying. They weren't reckless. They were loud. Gunfire, boots on metal, laughter, screams. The humans had no fear, not here, not today. They were hunting, and the Syndicate had no idea what they were up against. Ryan's squad moved fast. Target, control points, airlocks, bays, escape routes. Every access point they could block got blocked. Syndicate operatives ran into their guns, not knowing where the fire came from, not understanding the smell of blood until it was too late. The second airlock was guarded by a few stunned mercs who died before they could even raise an alarm. The third had more resistance. 4 grottos, bristling with armor and attitude. They lasted longer. 20 seconds. Ryan took point on the last one. 1 Gru managed to bring a powered hammer to bear. He swung once, crushed a human fighter mid-charge. Ryan shot him through the visor before he could swing again. The human died screaming. The Gru died confused. Ryan moved on. The loading bays were a mess. Cargo crates overturned, Syndicate thugs in cover, snipers, plasma arcs. One of Ryan's lieutenants caught a bolt to the chest and didn't get up. Another went down screaming when an energy trap detonated near a bulkhead. They pushed anyway. The lead throwers turned chaos into a massacre. Without power weapons, the Syndicate couldn't hold the ground. One by one, their positions collapsed. The last pocket surrendered. Ryan gave the order. No prisoners. They didn't shoot the ones who dropped weapons. They beat them instead, with sticks, with fists, with rage that had waited years. And then they left them alive, crippled, broken, shamed. A message. They'd reached the armory, unlocked, unmanned, full. Ryan had to stop 3 humans from looting it on the spot. "We're not pirates," he snapped. "We're here to win." They listened. Barely. They left 20 Zists behind to guard the arsenal. That was the hard part, not killing. Holding. The humans weren't used to it, but they listened to Ryan now. The lead dealer had said to follow his orders. That had weight. Then came the bridge. It was barricaded. Someone had welded the door shut. From the inside. Ryan flicked his nullifier off, then tried to fire a plasma caster. Dead. Someone inside had a nullifier too. Smart. He flicked his back on. 2 humans stepped forward with shaped charges. "Give us 60 seconds. Everyone else cleared the hallway. A quiet countdown. Then a boom that shook the ship. Ryan charged first. He found the bridge full of Syndicate command. Dozens of guns turned to meet him. None of them worked. He opened fire. A dozen fell in seconds. The rest broke ranks, trying to run, trying to hide, trying to find weapons that still had power. None of them did. At the back of the bridge, towering over them all, was a Grue noble. Gold armor, etched sigils, plasma hammer on his back, crown-like ridges polished to a shine. Ryan raised Barrett. "Hold," he ordered. His fighters stopped. Barely. The Grue noble stared at him with hate. "You know who I am?" "We do." "You know what happens if you kill me?" "Yes." Ryan lowered Barrett. "I'm not here to kill you. I'm here to send a message." "You'll regret this," the noble snarled. "The Syndicate—" Ryan broke his knee with a tungsten stick. The Grue howled, falling to the floor. "That's from my hive leader," Ryan said. He pulled a recorder from his belt and hit play. The voice that came through was low, cold, and undeniable. "Are you sure that's how you want to play this?" The Grue froze. "Lead dealer," he breathed. Ryan knelt beside him. "He's real. He's here. And he's watching." He stood. "You'll survive. You'll crawl back to your people. And you'll tell them this." His mandibles clicked. "If they come back to the frontier, we will unleash the humans." The Grue didn't speak. Ryan nodded to 2 of his fighters. "Toss him out the airlock, alive." As they dragged the noble away, Ryan turned to the bridge crew. 40 of you, stay here. Lock it down. The rest—" He slung Barrett over his shoulder and drew his sticks. "We're going hunting." He stepped out into the hallway, fire still roaring in his blood, the smell of gunpowder and burned circuitry thick in the air. Behind him, human laughter echoed. Ahead, the ship waited. And for the first time since the Zists had been uplifted and betrayed, for the first time since the feds had called them expendable and the Syndicate had hunted them like cattle, they weren't prey anymore. They were coming, and this time they weren't coming alone.